This is First Gen Xers.
Watch out now. Got my dog barking in the background because I'm making stupid noises.
Well, mine's in the background making gremlin noises, so I mean,
it was funny. I actually saw a dog when I went into work the other day that looked like basically a puppy version of your dog, and I was just like, "Oh, look at him!" But I was trying to pet him. He kept trying to bite my hand.
Yep, sounds about right. Yep.
Anyway. All right, so what's up, y'all? Welcome to this week's edition of First GenXers Presents The Classroom, featuring myself, Darkwood 100, one and only Mr. Suave, and Miss O'Malley. Welcome to the show, y'all. All right, so we're going to dig in real quick because we missed last week, and rightfully so, to go watch a game that was bittersweet for me. Yeah, that was extremely boring until about the last 7 minutes, 8 minutes.
Right, the entire game was played in the last quarter.
Like pretty much that's where all the highlights came from because the kicker set a brand new record going 5 for 5.
There were people that were Googling has the kicker ever won MVP in a Super Bowl, and the answer is no. And you can't even vote for the kicker as somebody for MVP either. So, yeah,
that's insane. All positions should be available for MVP. If the left tackle keeps people off the quarterback's ass all game, keeps the best defender off the quarterback's ass all game, he deserves MVP. Its impact on the game, and not only the skill positions can make impact on it. But needless to say, the Seattle Seahawks are your NFL Super Bowl champions after beating the New England Patriots 29-13 last Sunday. And
at the very least, they don't have a shitty owner. So
true.
Look at it that way.
They do have a guy that I have to give credit to in John Schneider, their GM, for going from the Legion of Boom to rebuild to Sam Darnold and this young stud of a defense winning them a Super Bowl.
USC.
The only GM in history to ever do it after resetting the roster twice.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Swab, your thoughts on the game and kind of how everything turned out.
I enjoy it. It's kind of like a lot of people said it was boring, but I found it to be incredibly exciting in the terms of I'm one of those purists that don't mind the 1-0 baseball game. So for it to be 12-0 until probably around the third quarter before the kind of lightweight fireworks went off, a 12-0 game, New England was still in striking distance. I thought it was a great game to watch. It was fun. Every time New England got the ball, okay, is this it? Are they going to get back into it? Are they going to claw into it? And then the bang, bang touchdowns, it was they score, we score, and then it was interesting. I think that when you really look back at it, I think Mike Vrabel did his team a disservice. They didn't really start moving the ball till the fourth quarter. They didn't obviously make wholesome adjustments until the fourth quarter. By then, the game was considerably out of hand, or it would have been an incredible long shot to win. The offensive line, they played two rookies. First time that's ever happened in the Super Bowl, two guard and a tackle. And those guys are going to be good. It just was not their day and too big of a situation. They were playing too good of a team because I'll be honest, there's not many football games ever where I've seen people offensive linemen just get destroyed. That's the best way to put it. They lit their asses up. And I understand why the tackle didn't want to take questions after the game. I mean, he got embarrassed. I mean, the guard didn't do much better, But as a rookie, he just flat out got embarrassed on the biggest stage with 133 million people watching you get blown up and destroyed and pushed back into your own quarterback. And whew, man, those that's not what you dream about when you dream about playing in the Super Bowl. So all in all, thought it was a good game. Hats off to the Seahawks, the GM, the owner who's about to be the ex-owner because Paul Allen had it in his will that all of the sports teams were supposed to be sold by a certain date or time, so that way they could do more of his philanthropic efforts. So she's only the owner for another year or so, maybe, however long it takes to actually take a bid and do the sale. So it's a good time to be a Seattle Seahawk fan. You got to give them credit. Although I would like to say the fact that the kicker wasn't even allowed to be voted the MVP is ridiculous, and that's definitely something that needs to change. No shade to Walker. He had a great game, and out of all the players on the field outside of the kicker, he had the second best input into that game. But the kicker flat out outscored the Patriots on his own. He should have been the MVP.
Very true.
I don't disagree because I think he gave them the momentum to get to where they were in the end anyways. So, I mean, and yeah, him alone would have won that game. So, I mean, it was a great defensive game by Seattle.
If you could give the award to a group, in both their Super Bowl wins, I would give it to the defensive squad. Like you said, like Steve said, they abused that offensive line. Those poor young cats.
They didn't stand a chance.
It had nothing to do with lack of talent. It had nothing to do with lack of talent. It had nothing to do with lack of ability. You were just facing somebody who was better than you. Yeah. Like I hate to put it like that. Like
there was a lack of experience.
Yeah. And so with that being said, Kenneth Walker gets the nod on the MVP with the 27 carries for 135 yards, but no touchdowns. I think the only touchdown that they scored was offensively was a passing touchdown, right? Was
the tight end, if I'm not mistaken.
And they did have the pick six from the defense that kind of put the game away. That was where the game was
craziest play.
Yeah, that was unfortunately for New England where the game was over. Like, don't get me wrong, because what, they were down 12-0 going into the half. They come out of the half, they score 7. So now they're within 12-7. Now they're driving on that drive, and you know what I'm saying, they're moving the ball down the field. If they score again, they have the lead. You know, even if they kick a field goal, they're within 2. You know, but they give up the pick 6, and now all of a sudden that's a 14-point swing. Now instead of being up 14-12, you're now down 19 to 7. So like, to me, that was the backbreaker right there.
Well, yeah,
and it was crazy.
Yeah, and especially just the way too it killed the momentum on top of everything else. Like that just took the wind out of their sails. Done. Bye. Go home. Fuck New England.
But the good thing for New England Patriots fans, I know we don't want to speak anything good about them or to them, is that team is young. Drake May's only in his second year. They've got those offensive tackles and offensive guards that are talented, that are young. This was their rookie year. You know, like they have Stevenson, they have Henderson, they have talent. So I wouldn't say expect to see him in the Super Bowl, but expect to see him competing for the playoffs and have something to root for. Unlike Browns fans, who no matter what they do with the team, will never.
Like Raiders fans.
And I would like to say Christian Gonzalez deserves a shout out, kid from Oregon, cornerback, because without his incredibly good play in the Super Bowl, it would have been a no doubt blowout in the first half and going into the second until they made that interception that looked like a fumble but was actually a pick. You got to give him credit. He looks like a stud. He made 3 or 4 singular plays that really kind of kept New England in the game, which was pretty crazy to see. It's been a while since I've seen a cornerback make those kinds of plays to keep a team in a game.
That's what I say. There's things to smile about over there. Well, I wouldn't be smiling looking from the outside in because I don't like the Seahawks either. They actually have a potential run in them. That's what the NFC West is going to be one of the hardest divisions in football for the next couple of years. Period.
Everybody but the Cardinals.
Exactly. I was gonna say even if the Cardinals stay garbage between Seattle, San Francisco, and LA, there's going to be a lot to watch there. Now, Miss O'Malley brought it up. We were talking about the head coaching carousel a couple of weeks ago. The Raiders finally got their man after the Super Bowl was over, and Clint Kubiak, offensive coordinator for the world champion Seattle Seahawks. I'll say so. Swab, kick us off. What do you think about this hire?
I'll be honest. I think that it's the first time I've seen a coaching hire for the Raiders outside of Gruden, the second time, where it seems like a lot of the old Raider players are fully invested and think this was the right pick. There was the shot of him going to sign his contract fresh off of the private jet. And you've got Marcus Allen, Woodson, lots of Raider greats and people in the organization actually welcoming Kubiak into the facility, which is something I can't even remember, even Gruden. I don't remember them all doing that necessarily. So I think it's a good hire on its face.
When Charles Woodson came back, that's the last time they made a show out like that, was when Charles Woodson came back to the Raiders. But yeah.
So I like Kubiak. I got a feeling some changes are going to be coming. They're definitely either going to try and trade or cut Geno Smith. It'll be the second time. I guess Kubiak is the one that pushed for them to trade him to the Raiders to get rid of him. So I'm curious.
I'm sorry, like
doing.
That's just bad luck. I feel sorry for Geno Smith because it's like, yeah, dog, coach don't want you here. We trade you to the Raiders. Now, same coach that don't want you here is the same coach that's about to become the new head coach of the Raiders. It's like,
I mean, but you can't really even feel bad for him because he's on that Christian Watson trail. He had a full-on comeback. He was a top 15 quarterback after looking like a bust, and he did well, and he got paid. So, I mean, I don't necessarily feel bad for Geno Smith. He's carved out a hell of a career considering where he started from and how far down he had fallen. So, you give him credit. It's just it's a rough spot. I'm curious to see what team he goes to. There are a couple that could use Geno as a stopgap quarterback, which is essentially what he is now since he's not really a franchise game changer. So don't feel too bad for him because the $60 million he's going to make off the Raiders is something else.
O'Malley, your thoughts on Kubiak taking the helm?
It ain't going to make no fucking difference. I mean, it's not. It's not the coach. It's not the players. You could have every single at every position have the top players in the league, and that team is still not going to do anything until you're like changing the leadership, until they can get a freaking owner in the draft or some shit. It's not going to make a difference because that's not where the problems really are. So, I mean, I hate it for Coach Kubiak. Why would you want to do that to your career? But
if you can be the one that wins despite all that bullshit.
Okay.
And let's be honest, even if he can just get the team to become a playoff team, that's leaps and bounds over the last 25 seasons of Raider football. Outside of the Gruden years, I mean, that's an accomplishment.
Hey, Del Rio had him as a playoff. It wasn't Del Rio's fault that
they were close. I mean, there were some other guys right there that had them decent, but Del Rio got cut short. Hugh Jackson got cut short. Yeah. Gruden got kicked out because of the email thing.
Well, Gruden should never have been brought back in the first place.
They needed that feel-good story. That's how bad it got. I mean, I can't even be mad at it.
Story, okay, we're trading Khalil Mack. Fuck all of you.
I didn't like it at first, but I still understand the sentiment, and it might happen.
No, because then how did that work out? He ended up in San Diego, and we're having to fucking play against him.
I mean, I'll be honest. A lot of players seem to do that nowadays. They jump to the team, you know. So I mean, hell, the Packers have been Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. Everybody goes to the Jets and then the Vikings, you know, or he didn't
Yeah.
make it to the Vikings, but
Yep.
you
Well, it
know,
was
it
between at
happens.
one point it was between San Francisco and Kansas City was that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get
San
it.
Francisco.
But
It's crazy out there to see this player movement. I'll ask you guys about one more thing before we move on to our next subject, which is the Hall of Fame selections. Derek Carr has made and doubled down on a statement that he made that for the right contender, he would be willing to unretire. So O'Malley, you know, I've been waiting all week to hear your thoughts on this. So please, what are your thoughts on Derek Carr potentially coming back to play for a contender?
why?
I don't know.
I mean, first, okay, why would you want to do that? And second, a contender is not going to want you. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be an asshole in this, but you didn't really leave at the height of your career.
Yeah.
And you didn't really do a whole lot. Yes, some of that was because of the loyalty you showed in Oakland and all of that stuff, but like, bro, just stay retired. No.
It's
No, Flacco shouldn't have even come back. Okay, so just
hey,
calm
but
down.
Phillip Rivers can
It'll
do
be
it.
okay. Are you bored at home? Like,
He still got the
is
itch.
your wife telling you to go back to work? Is that
that's what it is.
That's
my
where I'm at on
goodness.
that. I think his wife is telling him to go back to work.
That's great. That's great. All right. So, Swab, last words on Derek Carr. What do you think his impact could be?
I mean, he could potentially help a good team that's an average or above average quarterback play away from competing. So, I mean, I could see him doing something like the Vikings on a minimum bet deal to stopgap till they figure out what's going on with JJ McCarthy, whether he's gonna be the guy eventually or not.
Well, there's word that Kirk
Maybe,
Cousins is about to hit the market too. So
yeah, I'm curious to see, but that hasn't fully come to fruition, and I'm not sure how the fan base. I don't know if Minnesota can pull that back.
yeah,
Because you let Kirk go because you didn't want to pay him and you were going to draft a youngster, so you let him walk as a free agent. Then you got Darnold. Do you actually bring Cousins back? I don't see how you can really do that as the ownership group. I mean, maybe it's a weird day and age we're in, so maybe it's possible, you know. But as for Derek Carr, the Vikings are pretty much the only team. The Vikings and the Colts are the only teams I can see him coming back. I don't know if Phillip Rivers is going to come back to try and play for the Colts one more season. Would be interesting to see him get a full season because he actually wasn't half bad. It was obvious, you know, it was a little bit different than Flacco. He came in off the couch, and while he was able to do some things and show some spark for the team, it just wasn't enough. You know, he didn't have
I
that
don't,
the feel for the rest of the skill position players
I
to
don't,
really finish getting them going.
I don't think he's better than Jones and Richardson.
No, well, Jones coming off the injury, so I'm not sure when he's actually going to be ready to play. That would be my only thing. If Jones comes back and he's healthy and ready to go week one, then yeah, he obviously he's going to be the guy because he was looking fantastic, crazily resurgent, you know. But outside of those two teams, which I don't think either of them are actually going to reach out and call him. I mean, it's fun to say, and he's obviously got the itch, and I love Derek Carr. I love his attitude, you know, and how he comports himself as a professional athlete. But you know, his heyday was short because of the broken ankle by Donald Penn on the one sack he gave up all season. So outside of that, he's been fairly average.
I don't know. All right. So next up, what we will be talking about is the 2026 NFL Hall of Fame selections. And guys, I actually like this list. I'm pretty sure there's one guy on here you guys will probably hate, but hey, he deserves to be in as far as I'm concerned. You've got, first of all, QB for the Saints and the Chargers in his career, the one and only Drew Brees, getting in his first year of eligibility, first ballot Hall of Famer. Larry Fitzgerald, wide receiver for the Cardinals, and I believe only the Cardinals, right? He didn't play for anybody else.
Yeah, he didn't play anywhere else.
1,400, well, I'll say second only to Jerry Rice in receptions with 1,432 and receiving yards with 17,492, a first ballot inductee. Luke Kuechly, linebacker, played for the Carolina Panthers, won Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2012. Wow. And Defensive Player of the Year in 2013 during his 8-year career. Patrick Willis has already made it in, hasn't he? He should.
Not yet, but it's
Luke
coming.
Kuechly made it in. Willis should make it in.
That's the golden ticket right there.
Yep, this is the second year of his eligibility. He's a 5-time first team all pro, and like I said, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Adam Vinatieri, kicker, I believe he played for the Patriots. I forgot who else.
The Colts.
It's one of the best kickers in the history of the NFL. Like, regardless of who we played for, like
literally won 3 of the rings for the Patriots on his leg.
Yes.
He's the NFL all-time leading scorer with 2,673 points, was elected in his second year of eligibility. He becomes the third pure place kicker to join the Hall of Fame. Okay. I think it's very much deserved, very much so.
Absolutely.
And then last but not least, for Bay Area love on the senior ticket, the lone selection from the seniors category was the one and only Roger Craig from the San Francisco 49ers, a 3-time Super Bowl champion, first player in NFL history to record 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards in the same season in 1985. It was funny. Frank Gore, when asked about Roger Craig getting in before him, said, I 100% feel that, Roger should be in. Like above me, before me.
Wow, I'm offended that one of the best ever was voted in before me.
And here's the thing about it is that
literally helped change the game for running backs,
Yeah.
The prime and latter part of Roger Craig's career, from his late prime through his retiring years, was there at the same time as Barry Sanders was in the league. Was a young Barry Sanders. Yeah. And to me, Roger still found himself relevant as a rusher at that point, which to me blows my mind considering how late into his career he was at that time. But Roger Craig is a unique player. I will always have as a 49ers fan, I will always have a special place in my heart for him in that high stepping fucking way that he carried the ball like wasn't nobody taking him down. Using him on Tecmo Bowl was hilarious and fun, watching people bounce off of him. But I'm glad to see him get in. Now he can go sit beside Joe and Jerry and Dwight with their gold jackets and put his on too. So congratulations to Roger Craig and to all the 2026 Hall of Fame inductees. O'Malley, kick us off with your thoughts of the 2026 class.
I guess my biggest thing is I'm just shocked that it took so long to get Roger Craig in the Hall of Fame. That's my biggest thing out of this whole class is it took that long. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
3-time Super Bowl champion. Like he's an example of how to the voters evidently winning championships doesn't matter. I
wouldn't say that. It came down to who every class had when it was his turn to come up after his 5-year mark. So that's the toughest part and the reason why we get so many seniors to be voted on. But I will say that out of the people that were selected this year, I would not have kicked any of them off to get Belichick or Kraft in. All 5 of the guys were incredibly deserving.
Yeah.
So Bill can be happy being a second ballot Hall of Famer and he can get ribbed for it. And then he'll flash all the rings that he's got and he'll say, ha, 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 joke's on you. But I wouldn't have kicked any of these people off. All of them are great selections, and really, you can't even argue against them.
Here's what I ask. To them, really, does it matter how many swings at the bat you had to take in order to get into the Hall of Fame as long as you hit that home run?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
I will say
I get
for the Hall of Famers, that is one of the things that they rib each other about is, hey, I was first ballot, so
yeah.
that.
But at the end of the day, we're all in.
Together.
You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we're all wearing gold jackets.
But that's not necessarily, it doesn't end up always being the case. Look how many posthumously awarded, Hall of Fame. Like one of the biggest ones that stands out for me is Kenny Stabler. And that was not just because he was not the best or better than somebody coming up against him. Some of that we have seen, especially the Raiders in the past, is there were ones that would not vote for them based solely off the fact that they were a Raider.
Yep.
So
very much so. And it's like I said, I think it's good to see these guys get in. I think that at the end of the day, like I said, Belichick, bro, you'll be wearing that gold jacket one day, no matter what. You've earned your spot in the Hall of Fame. We all know it's there waiting for you. It's just a matter of when they call your name. And it shouldn't matter if it's first ballot is nice. First ballot is nice. First ballot ain't everything, because I'll refer to this as we close out this subject in this half of the show. The video, if you check it out on YouTube, of Ronnie Lott telling Roger Craig that he got in, that he was getting his jacket, is one of the most emotionally just fulfilling videos as you watch those two teammates hug. And then he's like, I finally got in. And just the pure emotion of it. I believe it was Roger Craig. I believe it was Jerry Rice that was there with Ronnie Lott as well to let Roger know that he had been inducted in. But man, that's that. It means something.
We're the three best friends that anyone could have.
Oh my goodness. Nothing will ever beat, and I will always say this, nothing will ever beat 80s football rap. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look it up. The Chicago Bears had their rap. The 49ers had their rap.
Yeah.
The 80s
the Super Bowl
rap.
Shuffle.
I swear to God, if you go back and watch it now, it looks like an old SNL skit. But it's not. It was actually
right. No, it really just was that bad.
Yeah.
Oh man! All right, y'all. So stick with us. We're gonna come back and talk a little NBA trade deadline right after this break. And I tell you, just go look it up. I'm telling you, just my recommendation to y'all: go look it up. 80s football rap, and it will be something.
You'll thank him later.
Yes, you will thank me later. All right, y'all. Peace.
We back at it. Yep, we still doing it. Poetic beat. First GenXers. Gia. Let's get it, y'all. Come on. We back in the building. It's been a long time cooking in the soup kitchen. And I'm chilling with the same. Dropping these beats, won't stop, nope, I can't. Let me get up in the lab, turn it up. Game on with the first GenXers. What's up? Let's flip on the switch or the Xbox and get up in my zone, I'm clowning. Let me clear my throat for a minute. Shout out to my folks while I'm in it. It ain't nothing but love, it's babe business. I really don't know what's so who ain't feeling this. And this is only the beginning. Now versus then, this is something for the chillin'. Poetic got the joints like McDonald's. I'm loving it. It's the first GenX. We're now rocking with Poetic Beats. This is the first GenX's production. Get your PlayStations out. Get your Xbox out. Get your Switch out. Let's get it in, y'all. Holla back. got to keep it. Keep it. You got to keep it lovely. You got to keep it. Keep it. You got to keep it lovely. Success comes right after the struggle. I ain't even giving up on whatever I wanted. The tragedies I've seen, I can't even stomach. Most of y'all weak as shit and would've started running. Every time I make it back to the crib, I'm thankful the Most High let me see all of it. Grateful I'm lovely, and I've been real with this. Please don't judge me. I'ma stay on my shit.
Adam's family like dynamic between Pugsley and Wednesday. Like,
Yeah.
very true.
Yeah.
Well, I always temper this because I think
I do not like the proceed with caution tagline.
I've also seen what Chase Center looks like when the Valkyries are fucking playing. So fuck all of you, because Chase Center is packed no matter what's going on.
They say that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But the definition of beauty is distorted. Yeah. Come on. Searching for yourself, so insecure about the way you look, so you go to Miami. You can't find the love within yourself.
All right, and we are back. What is up, y'all? And welcome as we begin our journey. First of all, give a quick shout out to Commander Fiona. Thanks for tapping in with us and giving us a shout out. We appreciate you. All right, so we're going to kick into Week 17 NBA stories, but first we're going to kind of go back in the way back machine and go back to about a week ago. When the NBA trade deadline came and went a little over a week ago, about 10 days ago, and talk about all of the moves that were made, including the ones that were made by some of our favorite teams. Anthony Davis on the move again, this time heading to the Washington Wizards, who have managed to get Anthony Davis and Trae Young this season. Like, okay, let's see what that combination can do if Anthony Davis can manage to stay healthy.
Isn't Trae Young the one that got traded like literally in the middle of the basketball game?
I think so. The guy from the Hawks, yeah.
Yeah.
James Harden worked himself out of the LA Clippers. He is going to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and we'll play with them. It was him and for Darius Garland in the second round pick. Anthony Davis, the Wizards got him for Chris Middleton, 2 first-round picks and 3 seconds. I think that's a little bit much to pay for him, considering his injury. I guess the value is in whoever's buying, right? Is dictated by that. So let's see. Jaren Jackson Jr. was traded from the Memphis Grizzlies to the Utah Jazz and will promptly have season-ending surgery in the next week or so. So that's another trade that has not worked. Now we get to, well, actually, we'll go back over this. Isaac Zubac to the Indiana Pacers from the Clippers for Benedict Mathurin and 2 first-round picks. I didn't know Zubac would work that. Chris Paul got traded by the Clippers to the Toronto Raptors for him and the draft rights, or for the draft rights to Banja Marinkovic. And then Toronto promptly told Chris Paul, don't bother reporting. So a couple of days ago, Chris Paul announced his retirement. We'll get to that. And then Nikola Vukovic.
You can't fire me. I quit.
Pretty much.
You can't quit. We ain't want your Hall of Famer.
Nikola Vukovic went from the Chicago Bulls to the Boston Celtics to go try to help Jaylen Brown keep the Celtics relevant until Jason Tatum can get back. And he went there for Anthony Simmons, the former Blazer. All right, guys. So that's a roundup of and I skipped over one in particular. As the Golden State Warriors made 2 moves during the trade deadline. One was to move Trace Jackson-Davis to the Toronto Raptors for a 2nd-round pick. And the big move that everybody was talking about is that they moved Kristaps Porzingis, or they moved Jonathan Kuminga and Buddy Hield to the Atlanta Hawks for Kristaps Porzingis. And I will state, and this will be a hill that I die on, I don't like giving up Buddy Hield. I like what he brought to the team off the bench, but it is what it is. If Kristaps can stay healthy, me and Swab talked about the different combinations and low post combinations that the Warriors can have. O'Malley, you're shaking your head over there, so give us your thoughts first on Kristaps Porzingis.
We went through all of that Kuminga drama not once but twice. For this is where we end up in the end after all of that drama. I mean, okay. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It could
Mike,
be
don't leave
worse,
me.
but I also think it could have been a lot better. But
I'll say it. They went and got the next best thing. The Giannis thing didn't end up working out. They threw everything they had at the Giannis thing. You know what I'm saying? They threw Draymond. They threw multiple 1st-round draft picks. They threw everything they could at the Giannis thing. It didn't work out. This is a service. This is a backup situation that fulfills an old desire that they had to see if this combination could work. Swab, what are your thoughts on swapping out Kuminga, who was barely playing, for a center who may barely play due to injury? But
I mean, it's a move that they kind of had to make. They only had 1 year left on Kuminga. He's kind of in the driver's seat at that point. You know, you got to ship him off so that way another team can have him for a season and see if they want to re-sign him or dangle him as trade bait. Kristaps fills the need. You've got him. You've got Al Horford. You got Quentin Post, so he's not going to need to play huge minutes. I kind of like that 3-headed monster that they can roll out. I also like the combinations that they can do with Horford and Kristaps at the same time, so they can actually, for the first time in a long time, they could actually go big. You know, play Dre at the 3 and have Kristaps and Horford out there, and then have the youngsters backing all them up. You know, so there's silver linings. I know a lot of Warrior fans were upset that they weren't in on the Jaren Jackson Jr. Move, but
which they actually were. They made calls. It just didn't come to fruition.
Yeah, but that worked out in our favor because we would have had another all-star level talent not suit up this year with him going out with surgery, which works out for Utah because they wanted to tank anyway after getting fined by the league anyhow. So it's good for the Warriors. Not sure how it really reflects for the last half of the season for the push. It should keep us relatively right where we're at and in the hunt for the 6th seed at worst. So that's kind of where they want to be. They're not really tripping on home court. They know they just get in the playoffs, then they can play hard and see where the chips fall.
Yeah. I agree with you completely about
not a how we get there, just that we get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say, and what I'll say is this: is that I spoke to you about this after the trade went through. Is I said I like the Kristaps thing because we have a potential twin towers situation, not with Horford and Porzingis, but with Post and Porzingis, because Post is a legit 7 foot, and Porzingis is 7'2". So you have the ability if Horford and Porzingis can coach up Post, you have the potential to have 2 big rim protectors out there at the same time that you're running either Jimmy Butler, if we're talking next year, or Draymond Green out the 3. And you can have any combination of Stephen Pod, Stephen Moody, Stephen GP2, Stephen DeAnthony Melton, who I think is probably going to get the start at the 2 now, with probably Porzingis starting at the 5 and Al Horford coming off the bench with Post backing him up. But this Warriors team, I'm not going to say they look anywhere near ready to compete with Oklahoma City. I think that this Warriors team looks different than any other Warriors team that we've seen in the past. Big time. Like we haven't had this much size since we had Bogut. It's back when we had Bogut and David West and all of that. We figured
We're even bigger than then. We actually got 2 real 7-footers on the roster for the first time in my entire life.
Yep. No, really, pretty much like even when we had Manute Bol, we didn't have another 7-footer along with him. Like like at the end of the day, it's looking like they're putting together a squad that can compete using defense, which is even in the game of basketball, what wins you championships is playing good defense. So if we can get basically out of Kristaps, which he was averaging 17 points and 5 rebounds a game, if we can get about that out of him, I think they'll be sitting pretty. And then, like Swab said, he's not going to have to play a lot of minutes. So, but we'll see what this new team looks like soon here as the Warriors sat them all the way. They could have came back before the All-Star break. The Warriors were smart enough to sit them all the way through the All-Star break, and they'll be back. They'll be able to start the first game coming back from the All-Star break. And it gives Porzingis a couple more weeks to learn the Warriors system, his place and his role, etc. But it's going to be interesting. I brought this up to Swab the other day, and I'm in no way saying anything. But remember, the last time Porzingis stayed healthy through a postseason and had Al Horford as his teammate, he won a championship with the Boston Celtics.
We're going to miss Jimmy Butler, but I agree.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not saying they can.
Yeah, but we'll see. I mean,
yeah, we'll see.
That's a nice, fun little fact.
Yeah, it is just a fact. That's all it is. I am not saying anything. I am not predicting anything. I am just saying
they weren't quite senior citizens then yet, but you know.
Hey, they're still able to walk. They just need the cane every few feet.
Okay, well, I mean, whatever works. All they got to do is stand there, right? Just get in the way of somebody. Just take the hit. I mean, probably break a hip on the way down.
All right, so it looks like All-Star Weekend was this weekend. Damian Lillard managed to win the 3-point contest for the third time in his career, the most out of any active NBA player or NBA player in general. So I guess according to Swab, this is going to bring Steph and Clay and everybody else out of retirement for next year's.
The first thing that popped in my head was Steph's coming back next year because that's not going to be allowed. No.
I love the competition level to it. I did.
Yes,
it'll probably be one of the first times in a long time where the 3-point contest will be the best billing for the All-Star weekend.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you who competed in the dunk contest. Was there a dunk contest this year?
Yeah, boring as all get out. I saw the highlights, but
one of them used E40.
One of them used E40.
One of them used E40. Is his prop for the dunk competition.
I seen the one guy fall and looked like he almost cracked his head open. I saw that one.
No.
Oh my God.
I honestly, I mean, if we're being honest here, it wasn't giving two halves a shit about this All-Star weekend. I mean,
I really wasn't. Well,
I don't
so,
know. It just got all weird. Like the whole how it's played. It's all weird.
It's lost
The
its
three
luster.
game.
I mean, the three-point contest is really kind of the best part of the All-Star weekend
Well,
because at least it's a skill. You know, the
and
dunk
next year it's
contest,
supposed to be in
bleh.
Sacramento, so hey, that's a perfect time for everybody to be. I mean, shit, I'd try to go to see that for sure.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Well, so all right, and then just quick thoughts, guys. Final thoughts on Chris Paul as he retires from the league, his impact, and kind of what he meant to the league as he walks out the door. So I'll kick us off.
I mean, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. There's no real other way to say it. He's one of the few point guards that he had a lot of impact without a lot of, I hate to say substance, but I'll say instead playoff impact. He did will a couple of teams, especially those Hornets teams. New Orleans Hornets. He did will some of those teams to the playoffs. They did have people like Tyson Chandler. He was great for the Clippers, but they never really amounted to much when they had DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin, and it was Lob City, and that was, that was an amazing moment, but it never really came to anything. So you give him credit for sticking it out for all these seasons, trying to get a ring. It just never really happened. He could, until his paperwork's in, he could try to one shot it and get onto a team. I thought he was a great fit in San Antonio, and then they said deuces. I think that came down to really his contract. So he could try to go out there and mercenary a ring on the bench like Gary Payton did in Miami. I wouldn't be mad at it. We've seen a lot of the greats kind of do that to get that one ring, to have the moment, even though you make hardly any impact on the team. But Chris Paul, one of the greatest point guards of his era, without any of the playoff success.
I mean, there's not much I can really add to that. I agree 1,000% on that. I honestly think he should have retired a couple years ago, but I get the trying to get there. Unfortunately, he just couldn't quite get to a team that could also help get him there. So,
or even wanted him.
That part.
You know who I see is going to probably run a similar path in his career? I hate to say it. Dame Lillard.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. I don't necessarily see him winning a championship between now and when. Especially now that he's back in Portland.
I don't see him. I think he retires before he goes anywhere other than Portland. I think he's in Portland to end his career.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think at the end of the day, we're gonna look at him.
And that's gonna suck because he's somebody
that deserves.
Yeah.
He's somebody that deserves. Like he's somebody that deserves a ring. Like because there are plenty of teams that he was on that should have been either close to NBA champions or at least NBA champions, and it just never came to fruition.
Yeah.
And he's such a great player. He'll go down just like Chris Paul is one of the greatest to not wear a ring. Chris Paul, Charles Barkley.
Good dude all around in general. And so you can't 100%. Help to not like him.
Right. And I feel for him and what's going on. But get well, Dame. Who knows with Portland? Like, y'all might make a mysterious run.
We should have taken an over-under before the season started and see how many Achilles injuries we thought we were going to see coming into this season. The way, across, football and basketball. I didn't see it in baseball, but we saw it a lot in both football and basketball.
I think I mentioned that to SEAv earlier.
Yeah.
We were talking on the phone, like, about just how it's like this is the most, like, these style injuries, like season-ending Achilles injuries that we've seen. Like,
but also, when we used to see Achilles injuries in the past too, they were not just season-ending injuries.
Oh, they were career
enders.
Career-ending injuries.
Yeah.
And now you've got these kids coming back from stuff like that. And okay, now I feel old when I put it like that. But yeah, unfortunately I don't disagree. I think Dame is gonna be it. That's gonna be it for him too.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, Portland is in the playoff hunt, right? Currently,
I believe so.
So I mean, he's got a shot. I don't want to, it's not a big shot. They got a puncher's chance, and if he can pull off some magic, I could see them making some noise. I just, it really should have happened a couple of seasons ago before teams like OKC really got on the map and are going to make it harder for everybody else. But Dame has
Especially
had
now
some
that they've got
incredible
some
moments.
experience under their belt.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, last subject of the day is the top non-NFL or NBA stories this week, which was the Winter Olympics. Let's see a couple of highlights. Jordan Stoltz makes history. The American speed skating phenomenon captured his second gold medal of the games, setting an Olympic record in the 500 meter. Right on. U.S. men's hockey stayed perfect, beating Denmark 6-3 Saturday to remain undefeated in preliminary play. I don't know. I kind of feel like about them like I did about basketball in the 1990s. It's just not fair once you let the pros that play in the States all play. Like
Nah. When it comes to hockey,
Yeah, true.
Canada, Russia. I mean, there's a bunch of European freaking and Canadian players that have been, especially Canada and Russia. They dominate hockey. So for us to finally have even a chance to win it, I mean, let's be honest, it's kind of like the World Cup.
Even shoot, this year I was cheering for the Canadian team to beat the whoever the U.S. team was in the Stanley Cup. I mean, because yeah.
We'll say in a figure skating shocker and a major upset, I guess, who somebody named Quad God, Ilya Malinin, failed to reach the podium in the men's single final after a difficult free skate. So I guess
came in eighth. The one time he had a bad freaking run, it comes in the Olympics after he's been kicking ass last couple of years and he's been winning almost everything. That one hurt. That one hurt because I like when the figure skaters do well, and when we have really good skaters of our own, because that's another one where we haven't always been the best. So it's good to have a run, and for him to end up in 8th spot, that was just the wrong time to have an off day.
Yeah,
we got our own skaters taking out our own skaters' knees. That shit's got to stop. Okay. And then last, I guess there was some curling controversy. Tensions are high on the ice as Canadian curlers have faced accusations of cheating and rules infractions in both the men's and women's tournaments.
Using that little extra touch, everybody's saying that it's illegal. The rules are saying that it's not. I guess it's kind of one of those unwritten rules, but yeah, you watch the video. He twists it and he gives a little kiss with his finger. And, they hating on him.
They're like, no, you're not supposed to touch it.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to touch it. What if my bad breath moves it forward? Anyway, all right. So last thing is quick thoughts, guys, on the fact that Major League Baseball, it's like I was telling Swab the other day, like, wow, we're already back to the point where pitchers and catchers are reporting we're about to get to spring training games. Like, what the hell happened to the offseason?
I just saw that and I was like, wait, what the hold on. I mean, it did feel like January was already 6 months into the year at this point, but I mean that's extra.
And here we sit with a lot of teams looking good. The Tigers signed Framber Valdez away from the Astros, $115 million for 3 years. God damn, just throwing a baseball. The Phillies surprisingly released Nick Castellanos, who subsequently signed, or Castellanos, Yeah, him. With the Padres, it's just like Giannis. I just say Giannis. And the Dodgers added Kyle Tucker to the chagrin of everybody else in baseball.
Everybody's pissed about it.
I don't understand why. Here's okay. It's not that I don't understand why. I understand why. I just want to understand why the same voices that are speaking up about the Dodgers now were not speaking up about the Yankees back when the Yankees were doing it in the early 2000s and the late 90s, and the Yankees were signing everybody's best player as soon as they became a free agent and bring him in to win championships. This is how we got A-Rod with the Yankees for a few years. You know what I'm saying? So like, where were y'all then?
Roger Clemens. I mean, the list is ferocious.
Like Dave, wasn't Dave Stewart a Yankee?
No, he was but they did have CC Sabathia, Darryl Strawberry. I mean, they had a lot of great players that didn't start with them, just got swooped up by him.
Back before didn't
Chavez play for him too?
No, he retired as an athletic.
Eric Chavez?
Mm-hmm. I don't remember him playing for anybody else.
Then was it Tejada then?
But Tejada went a few places.
Yeah, he went to a few places. Not sure if it was the Yankees. I don't think it was.
Yeah. But needless to say, nobody was bitching and complaining when the Yankees was sapping up everything. Now they want to bitch and complain because the Dodgers are doing basically the exact same thing. And really, if you want to bitch and complain to the commissioner until you get a salary cap. Because until they get a salary cap, there ain't really nothing you can stop them from doing it. If they got the money, they can spend it however the hell they please, like spending it.
It's so out of whack. There's no way you can even implement a salary cap. I mean,
like
even a floor. The top team is spending what the Dodgers their salaries are like $700 million or some crazy number. And if you have a floor, I mean, you still got teams that barely have $100 million payroll. So to force them to double up essentially to have a floor where they're more competitive, I just don't see a way for it to work. I don't see a way for them to cap it. The players will never agree to it because that's just going to put a cap on their potential earnings for honestly a sports league that's making billions of dollars. Baseball is still America's pastime. It's still relevant and it's still got big names. Now there's even a huger world influence because you got, your Otanis and you got the Dominicans that always show up and the Cubans. So, I mean, and the Latino players. So, I mean, I see no way a salary cap can be instituted. They're just going to have to stick with the luxury cap or tax. And if a team wants to spend $1.4 billion to win a ring, we should all be so lucky that ownership group's willing to do it.
I mean, it makes for good baseball.
It does. It does. All right. So last subject before we close this out tonight.
I swear I feel like that's the third time he's said last subject.
Really? Yeah. Sorry. I keep thinking of new ones while we're talking. Was reading an article the other day where it talked about the fact that the Warriors were valued as the #1 basketball team in the NBA at $10.8 billion is their valuation. $1 billion. I'll say it's Joe Lacob. He bought him at 400 something million.
He's half that. He's half that. The rest of it's Steph Curry.
Fair enough. But and I look at it and I just go, it's nice to see that up there. I know they're probably not ranked higher than the Cowboys. For some odd reason, that pathetic moribund franchise is always the #1 valued team in all the sports. And
I will say this: it's typically teams that own their own facilities. Jerry Jones owns it's not just the Cowboys, it's also the stadium and a combination of the Legends thing that he helps other teams. Like he owns 50% of the Raiders revenue for their merchandising and the sales at the stadium and stuff. And they've been helping tons of teams. He's got his fingers in a lot of pots. So that's a reason the Cowboys have always been up there in those terms.
Valuation.
Yep.
Oh, dang.
Well, plus you've got Chase Center, the Valkyries, all of that under this ownership too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And as it should be. It should be
I just it's just nice to see
it is.
after where I watched this come from.
When they couldn't even give away $10 tickets, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Still wish they was at Oracle, but other than that, I mean,
like you could have just the same money you spent into chasing, and you could have invested in the Oracle.
Getting priced out of being able to go to games too.
Yeah.
I just wish whoever had that land had actually sold it to the damn Niners, and Levi's Field was sitting where the Chase Center is, and then the Warriors couldn't have moved anywhere and stayed their asses at Oracle.
That would have been nice.
Okay, well, in the alternate universe that we're living in right now, let's throw in some other things. Can I win the lottery in this big land that we're living in?
I keep praying. I only need to win it once. Like just once.
Hell, I've even gotten to the point I just want to know someone that's won the damn lottery. You know what I
mean? Right.
I'm praying for y'all to win the lottery. There you go. So all right, y'all. That will do it for us for this week. I want to thank y'all for joining me here tonight. We'll hopefully be back again next week. And there'll be plenty more to talk about. The NBA, the NFL, and the MLB will always give us something. But O'Malley, take us home.
Fuck LeBron. I mean, yeah, just, it's not the Lakers that were evaluated that much. And, they've got LeBron James right now. We've got Steph Curry, and it's the Warriors. So, yeah, absolutely. Fuck LeBron.
Swab.
Hey, Spurs didn't deserve Wemby. I'm going to die on that hill. And also just a special shout out to second ballot Hall of Famer Bill Belichick. Good job, Bill.
I tell you, you just can't get enough of this. Nope. And I want to thank y'all for joining us. And I want to tell you this. It's just as funny when we're off air as it is when we are on air. If that gives you any
He's saying we're this much of a mess in real life as we are on here is what he's saying. And yes, we are.
I will have to ask this question. Was Bill Walsh a first ballot Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Yes.
Congratulations, Bill Belichick. Congratulations. We'll see y'all next week. Stay with us. Hopefully MBT Deuce or MBT Nowers then will be on later on tonight. Maybe not. But if anything, I'll see you guys in a couple days with some NCAA college football. Peace.